Hey guys, welcome back. I figured today I'm going to. I realized I am jumping the gun a little bit on my villager trading hall because I don't have any like bread to make more villagers with. So I figured today I'd kind of focus on uh, expanding my farm and getting some animals too, because clearly there's not much out or around here, so I figured that would be a good idea. Today I wanted to talk about uh, the original topic, the original first video I was going to post to this channel when I made this world. I still have the recording, but I decided not to post it because it was like 32 minutes long. Well, and I can't post that. It has to be 15, under 15. But I wanted to talk about, why is love so hard to, you know, do? So I guess I should probably give the context for this situation. I am in a relationship, 6 months, currently ongoing with my girlfriend, and currently, um, I'm at a point where I'm not sure what to do with it because my girlfriend is really busy and she's a dancer, and so she's always, at dance, and whenever she's not, she's at school. But then, she always has to do her homework really late. So that's a big conflict too. And, when it push comes to shove, I only get to see her about uh like once a week. I usually only get to see her on Sundays. And uh it's more than that too, but I'll give you the basis of it first. Um but basically, um I got to a point lately where I felt a little bit unwanted, to put it kindly. Um, my girlfriend, for our 6 month anniversary, I was out of town during it for Christmas break. Um, I was out with family, and I sent her a text, telling her I loved her and everything about it. And when, well, so she had sent me a good morning text. Um, but then that was it. You know, that was it. There was nothing else that came all day. And, that's our 6 month anniversary. That's a pretty big deal. Uh, I'd think for most people it would be, but to her it seemed like, well, to me it seemed like to her it was, you know, not that big of a concern. And she only texted me good morning that morning. And then the day after, she didn't text. She didn't acknowledge the text. She didn't say, sorry, I was busy. She didn't even apologize. She just sent her same usual good morning text with two exclamation points, like always. You can imagine, that's a pretty frustrating thing, feeling unwanted by the person, you've said you love your love with, I, it's just, it's hard. And right now, I still love her. I love her a lot. She's my world. She's everything. And, you know, right now, it seems like to her, I'm, not a priority. I feel like I'm kind of just a, you know, check-in. She sees me, one weekend day, you know, and so it kind of feels like, she's not interested as much as I am, at least, and I feel like I'm stuck currently. I have two options, it seems. Option A, break up, and get out. Or option B, keep going, persevere. She'll be done with dance, in May, in April, after she does her final show, and that'll be it. And then, school will be over too, so there will be no excuse, right? But then, I think about it, and I think about college. Me and her both want to go to very, very different colleges and very different college, locations. And it kind of feels like if I follow through and keep it, then I'll just be let down there too. You know, it doesn't feel like there's much of an escape or really any options for me at the moment. I feel like I'm, stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, and it's really hard to know what to do. I wish the me from the future would, you know, come stop by and he'd be like, yo, just let it go. You know, it doesn't work out for you, and it's hard because I really do. I genuinely, I love her. I love her a lot. I love her with all my heart, and it's hard when I know she doesn't feel the same. You know, and I just don't know. I see all these posts of people on social media, and their relationship looks incredible. These husbands and these wives, and they're laughing all the time. And when she comes over and to see me, sometimes I laugh, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I can feel that you know neglect creeping up on me the most. Then at that point, and I don't know what to do. And it's so hard. I watch the people around me. They proceed to find this teenage love every day, and I'm out here and I'm fighting for trying to rekindle the embers of a relationship that once had so much spark, and it's just all gone you know in a flash, just like that. And I'm not sure what I need to do to keep it that way. And I feel like I'm really struggling right now, especially with that. And it's hard, you know, when you don't feel like there's a way out. Your brain kind of just wants to jump towards those, final conclusions, just end it, just let it go, and my heart at the same time, my heart goes don't let it go, you know? People fight. People fight for their relationships all the time. Why can't you, you know? And it's hard, you know. I feel pretty, you know, lost and distraught, and I don't know what to do. And it, it's just really complicated. I feel like right now the world, you know, it feels out against us, you know. All these TikToks, all the social media presences of these, you know, overly happy couples, you know. You're watching, you know, this boyfriend and girlfriend that never seem to argue. They never seem to have, you know, a problem with each other. They don't get frustrated ever. You know, they're always smiling. They're always laughing. And, you know, as much as I want to believe it's real and realistic, in my heart of hearts, I know it's not true. And I know it's wishful. And I know it's just not realistic to happen. And that's the part that scares me is what if maybe I'm wrong? You know, what if maybe my girlfriend is really trying? You know, what if I'm just being the annoying one and saying, well, you don't talk to me enough, you don't do this enough, you don't see me enough. And that scares me because what if I am that person and what if I ruin it? If I ruin it, you know, I'm throwing away this, you know, incredible relationship that I pursued for a year before I got it, and I'm willing to throw it away over a subpar amount of text messages and a couple moments of, you know, neglect. No, that's stupid, you know. Why would I do that? I don't think anyone wants to do that. It's just none of it makes any sense to me, and it's hard mentally. It's hard to think about that and focus on that and try and look past it when everything I see around me is that seemingly perfect love. And, you know, I honestly don't know what to do because love is just so confusing. And I, I don't know what to do to save it or kindle it, to make the embers turn into a fire. It's like I'm walking aimlessly in a fog, you know. One way is the entrance and one way is the exit, and they seem so close yet so far apart. You know, right now I feel like I'm stuck, you know. I'm looking for, I'm looking for the exit, you know, the exit out of the fog into happiness, you know. But I feel like no matter how much I walk, all I find is the entrance. And the entrance is walking back out and giving up, trying to find the happiness. And that's what feels tough at the moment, you know. I'm not sure what to do, when to do it. I'm not not even sure if she loves me as much as I love her. And, you know, I hope it never happens to any of you guys. But I'm just hoping that you all, you know, make it out through the fog. You know, you persevere. I hope you guys find, you know, a little bit of solace in this. Maybe if you're going through the same situation, or maybe if you're, you know, it's a struggle out there. And I hope, you know, don't give up.